In 1978, I visited Wrigley Field for the first time watching the Cubs play the Dodgers, and I was a Cub fan ever since. It wasn't until 1984, however, when the Cubs put a good team on the field. There, All-Star second baseman Ryne Sandberg led them to the 1984 National League East Division Championship. There, they played the San Diego Padres in the NLCS, and in Game 5 of that series, Leon Durham let the ball slip between his legs, opening up an opportunity for Steve Garvey to hit the game-winning home run. A few years later, in 1989, Andre Dawson led the Cubs to the East Championship, earning a trip to the NLCS, where Mark Grace lit up the series with hit after hit. However, Will Clark of the Giants was just that much better, and the Giants won that series as well. Several years later, in 2003, the Cubs won the Central Division Championship, eventually earning them a trip to the NLCS against the Florida Marlins, and in Game 6, Steve Bartman happened. We all know it wasn't Bartman's fault, though, because in that same inning, Alex Gonzalez bobbled what should have been a routine double play. That will forever go down in infamy. In 2009, however, Tom Ricketts bought the Cubs from the Chicago Tribune and hired Theo Epstein to lead the Cubs. Epstein's plan included a lot of losing, because in that losing, he needed to get rid of some of the mainstays. In getting rid of some of the mainstays, there was a renewed sense of optimism, and in 2015, the young Cubs went ahead and they won the wild card, led by young third baseman Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. The emergence of starting pitcher Jake Arrieta eventually earned him the Cy Young Award winner. In 2015, they went on to the NLDS to beat their arch-rival, the St. Louis Cardinals, earning them a trip to the NLCS against the New York Mets, where they eventually got swept. That lit a fire under the Cubs' butt, because in 2016, they brought back most of the young core, and they had a swagger. The Cubs won. And winning, they did often. In fact, winning 103 games in a regular season. All of a sudden, next year is now. The Cubs eventually won their division, and in the NLDS of 2016, they faced the San Francisco Giants and Madison Bumgarner. In an exciting series, the Cubs eventually prevailed, earning them a trip to the NLCS. There, they would play the Los Angeles Dodgers and the best pitcher in baseball, Clayton Kershaw. The Cubs would prevail in that series as well and earn them their first National League pennant since 1945. And in doing so, they earned a trip to the World Series. And the rest is history.